Welcome to The Oval. I am your main host, Claudine Bellany. Our hot topics for today include the devastating news regarding the chemical attack that affected innocent civilian lives in Syria. This bears the question, how do you feel about Trump's response to this attack? We'll also be talking about Kendall Jenner's newest Pepsi commercial and the outrage it has caused on social media. And have you heard of the Diva Cup? We will be speaking about the benefits of the hygiene product and why more and more women today are using them. Finally, we will be covering the new hit show on Netflix that everyone is talking about, 13 Reasons Why. To help cover these topics, please welcome my lovely co-hosts.
I'm Talea, and today I'm bringing you some clarity.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and today I'm going to give you some body image love.
Hi, I'm John, and today I'm bringing some trims.
Hi, I'm Megan, and today I'm bringing you some springtime sunshine.
All right, lovely co-hosts, let's get started. Politics Corner with Donald Trump.
I'm back again.
All right, so as you know, last Thursday, the devastating news regarding the chemical attack that affected innocent civilian lives in Syria. This bears the question, how do you feel about Trump's response to this attack?
I want to start this up.
I mean, there's no good way to respond, first off. Let's say that, because it should not have happened in the first place. This was, to me, it's just absolutely ridiculous that we're going through over and over, and like history repeats itself. And don't we learn? Like, can we not learn anything as human beings to be kind to one another, simply?
I just feel like the U.S. is always sticking their nose somewhere. And sometimes you got to know when it's time to, like, focus on others, but we have a lot of fixing to do ourselves. So I wouldn't go and, like, get involved in something when you know that we have our own issues. And now I just feel, I feel even more unsafe, you know? Like, uneasy.
I mean, to my opinion, his quote was, using a deadly nerve agent, Assad choked out the lives of helpless men, women, and children. No child of God should ever suffer such horror. So, I mean, he's
Okay, but no, sorry.
But our kids at home are
In English, 265.
Yeah, it was okay. Like, okay, whatever. It's the quote. I'm not gonna give him applause about it because you need to be concerned about all of the children if you're gonna be concerned about, and so like remorseful about. Oh my God, these helpless people. Like, okay, but that doesn't exclude everybody else. You know,
there's so many helpless children in our borders,
and like
and kids you're kicking out with your.
Else.
But when he went and when it was a what was it? It was some type of toxic chemicals, right?
Yeah.
All right, but that killed innocent children and families, which was happening already. So you just went and added on to it. That's not how you respond to something like that.
So the thing I'm confused about, if he's saying all that, he should be protecting the Syrians that try to come. You know, like, is there going to be a safety zone for them? Like, I'm so confused a little bit because I don't know. And according to, sorry to interrupt, but according to CBS poll, majority of Americans approve the airstrike that he has launched.
I'm not in the majority.
Yes. I second that.
Yes, indeed.
All right, let's switch some gears.
Yes,
Enough of
please.
politics with Trump.
Please.
Talea, please bring the drama with Kendall Jenner.
Okay, so if you guys haven't seen that Pepsi ad, which is a controversial ad with Kendall Jenner, basically caught attention to media right away. Like, first, before I talk about the ad, I want to talk about Aisha Evans. Aisha Evans was photographed in this sundress, and she was just standing in front of the police, and it's like the protest, but you just see her and like, I think it's like 3 officers, and they look like they're like, ugh. And she's just there, like, peacefully just in front of them. And that is basically kind of similar to the whole Pepsi ad. So I'm gonna talk about the Pepsi ad. So Kendall, she storms out of a photo shoot. Something that I noticed was that she snatched off a wig that she was wearing and threw it to a black woman, which I did not like. And she joins, and then she joins the protest. She goes to the protest, she comes to the crowd, and she just hands over this Pepsi to the police, and it's like, they open it, and it's just like, oh, celebration, like everything's solved, you know? And this is tone deaf. It's misappropriation of Black Lives Matter. And I just want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Okay, so this is too much. This is too much hot mess. That's what I call it. My thing is, do you think was her fault?
No, I'm not blaming
No,
Kendall.
do you think
She's
it's
an
the
actress
script?
in a sense.
Do you think it's the script that the idea of the commercial? Like, who is to blame
I
for
think
this?
it's both,
The
but also when it
advertising
comes to, like, I don't know who did the commercial. I don't know who did the script. Like, I would have to look that up. But also, like, when it comes to Kendall Jenner, there's been like Kardashian episodes where she wants to speak on like the issues going on, and I think she like doesn't support Trump, if I'm mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you know, and she wants to like, from what I guess, she wants to be like an activist. But because of her social status and because of her privilege, her immense privilege that she comes from, she does not know how to do it. And then what I'm thinking is like, you know, this doesn't excuse her actions, but I'm pretty sure like coming into this commercial, she was like, oh my God, this is how I'm going to put my voice out there. But it was just in a totally like misinterpretive, like not the best way to do it. And it was just like, if you want to do it, if you want to be an activist, if you want people to know that you're on the side of the people, start off small. Don't do something big like this, especially if you don't recognize your privilege or like you don't even know what your privilege is. If you don't, you know, if you're coming from such a high status as she is.
And appreciate the privilege you have and hand it off to somebody else who could use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
she
think,
could have said, I'm not the right person for this.
I think also is, my thing is, is like you think, what was the message of the like? What was the message of the commercial?
Well, I have the
It's-
apology from Pepsi. I could read it to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they sent out an apology. They said, Pepsi was trying to project a global message of unity, peace, and understanding. Clearly, we missed the mark and we apologize. We did not intend to make light of any serious issues. We are removing the content and halting any further rollout. We also apologize for putting Kendall Jenner in this position.
Okay.
Also, Kendall Jenner has not come out with an apology.
Here's the
Right.
thing. Here's the
Right.
thing. Here's the thing, right? Okay. So let's parallel this to something like the movie Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. when he did blackface in about 2008.
Okay.
So now let's look at this, right? So now you have Pepsi. Now here's the thing. Like I don't make a lot of money, but if I ran a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar soda company and I had to make a commercial, I would hire people with that money who
Right.
can accurately portray a certain message. Because it's very hard for me to sit down and think like professional people who actually work, who have like a degree in advertisement.
Right.
Like we're like, yo, this is a good idea.
If they wanted to do a good
Yeah.
idea, then
But-
all the protesters should have just had Pepsi.
Right.
You know, we gotta just
Why is it only one person? Also, it's a Pepsi. Like, is
Yeah.
that, like, realistically,
But why not
this
put a
is
black
not-
woman to
That's
do
what
it?
it.
No, there's no
understand.
reason they could not have done that.
So
They
maybe
just-
there's no minorities in Pepsi that works behind the scenes of advertisement, because I'm sure if there was a person of color, it would be like, wait, like, because we live in a sensitive society right now. Everyone is sensitive about something.
very true.
So I want to investigate whether or not who works behind the scenes.
But
What do you think?
I think I can go back to the Kendall thing. Here's the thing about Kendall, right? So like when Robbie Down, like I didn't realize this until a couple years later, but Robbie Downey Jr. played a white actor playing a black man in a movie, and the movie's called Tropic Thunder, and like it's this spoof comedy, and I thought it was all funny, ha ha ha, and then I was like, oh wow, he did blackface like in modern day, and some people are like, oh well, he didn't know when this and the third. Here's the thing, when you are an adult, if you are going to be out here going into a highly famed profession, into a profession in which you know millions of people are going to be watching the product that you're producing, you need to actively go in there with the mindset of, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm attaching to my name. Even now in college, we can think to ourselves, oh, I know I can be in this, but I can't be in that. So
Yeah.
You're
Kendall
attaching your name to that.
Kendall is like, if you can sign the contract to get whatever amount of money you're getting from the commercial, you should be able to sit down and say, how is my face being used? What is the image and
But
the message
remember,
I'm
her
projecting?
mom.
But even
Her
her
mom is
mother,
crazy.
even her mother can do the same thing. Her mother should think to
Her mom is
her mother should think to herself, you know what? I'm putting my baby in some mess that she shouldn't be in, so we're not going to do
See,
the
maybe when
commercial.
they
It's all
shot the
about money.
commercial, the way they made it, broke it up in parts, maybe it didn't click to them and then maybe she didn't see it until it premiered. And then
because if you think about it, there's a lot of times when you're making a project and then you don't get the chance to step back and see what you're actually doing. You know, you're so in depth on the details, and they want Kendall Jenner because she's currently the face of what
Whatever.
everybody wants.
But like also like just real quick because I know we're running out of
Yeah.
time. like in terms of like, you know, how you were saying in college, like we know when we should be somewhere, when we shouldn't. And like, that's like people with privilege, you know, they have the privilege of not needing to know that stuff and like not getting the education to need that know stuff. So like that plays a part into that as well, like not giving her the excuse and like the, all right, you're good to go, like don't worry, we'll forgive you this time. But it's just like, how do we, it also comes into question of like, how do we tell people of privilege, especially of that high status, like you need to learn, you know?
Well, I mean, will they?
Well,
Find out next time.
We'll stay tuned for that. I mean, just have a Coke and a smile. If you don't want to drink Pepsi and it offends you, just keep it moving and no more Pepsi.
I don't drink soda, but okay.
Yeah, right. Switching gears, we have something fun and something crazy. Jasmine, so tell us about.
It's not that crazy.
Okay. I've never heard of this, but tell me this little crazy Diva Cup.
Oh wait, I'm excited. You never heard about it. Johnny was like, I'm so glad
I've heard about it. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know what All right. So the Diva Cup is a reusable menstrual cup, and it goes in like a tampon for the people who have their periods if they use tampons. It's made out of medically grade silicone, so it's totally safe to use. It's fragrance free. It's dye free. It's definitely a lot cleaner and a lot safer than just regular tampons. So for people who use tampons, if you get your period, you have the risk of getting TSS, toxic shock syndrome, and people have died from it. And with the Diva Cup, there's actually a very low percentage that you will get TSS while using it.
Can't you leave it in for like a couple days?
Yeah, you can leave it. I think the coverage is like for not a couple days, but the coverage is like for 12 hours. But like I've been using it for like
a 6-hour tampon.
Yeah, I've been going on for 2 years now, and I take it.
I thought it was y'all was talking about the cup that you use to pee.
Oh no!
You know what I'm talking about? I didn't know that. Okay.
It's a menstrual cup.
Yeah, the Diva Cup. Yeah, out in the woods real quick.
And it's like very eco-friendly. It like saves you a whole bunch of money. You don't have to pick up like buying pads and tampons.
I have to cut you off a little bit. So do you think the Diva Cup will be much more of a hassle than tampons?
No.
No.
For someone who uses both, who have used both tampons, pads, and like using a Diva Cup now, it is way easier. There is a learning curve to it once you start using it. Like you need to.
I was gonna say, it seems like it's not the easiest thing to use at
like
first.
obviously not. Like when you first use tampons, like you need to put it in.
That's a whole other topic.
You know, same with the Diva Cup, and like there's a learning curve. But once you get the hang of it, you're just like in and out, in and out.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, we have to probably try it in the future.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like that would
come
be
back with a result.
amazing
There
for like underdeveloped countries.
Yeah,
because it's reusable.
Yeah. There is like a disclaimer though, so just if people actually want to try it, if they say that if you find tampons or routine consultations with your like GYN or your physician uncomfortable, then you should definitely like reach out to them and see if you can use it. Because some people like find it uncomfortable to have tampons like inserted or like even have sexual intercourse. So like they do say to like contact your physician to see if you can use this product.
That's good.
So that's just a little disclaimer.
Well, moving on.
Does one of these cost, just out of curiosity?
I got mine on Amazon for like $25, but like $25 one time beats tampons.
Yeah, beats tampons.
So we're running out of little time, so I have to like interrupt a little bit. I know Johnny, you have movie corner with Johnny. Give us a reason why teens should watch 13 Reasons Why, and tell us about 13 Reasons Why.
So 13 Reasons Why. I haven't finished it, and I promise I'm not going to spoil it because I haven't been able to go on Twitter for like a week because everyone has been trying to.
I finally finished
trying to spoil it for me.
I haven't started.
Like,
I need
just
to.
watch
I'm in
it.
the
You gotta
middle of the
watch
show,
it.
so I gotta
just
wait.
binge watch it, but it's based on a book by Jay Asher, who's an author who published the book in 2007, and now it was made into a Netflix series. And it obviously has 13 episodes for the series. But pretty much it's about a young lady named Hannah Baker who unfortunately committed suicide.
No, is this a true story?
No, it's not a true story.
Okay.
So she commits suicide. I believe she's 17 and a junior in high school. And she leaves these tapes behind. And pretty much the first tape says, if you're receiving this tape, then that means you had something to do with how I killed myself. And so it just takes you over it's a bunch of flashbacks. So the thing that, there's a couple of things I have to bring up that irritate me about the show. The flashbacks. So the flashbacks, you don't know when they're happening. So I'll be watching something and and I'm like, wait, what happened? Wait. Yeah. And then they're like, and then I see that she's alive. So whenever she's alive, it's a flashback. I'm like, oh my God. And then number two is that I don't know why, but the counselors and the teachers in this show like have no concept of like psychology or basic
That kills me.
like teenage behavior. It's like they
Maybe
have
they're
no
trying to show
concept
some
of bullying.
truth.
Yeah, no, that's the thing though.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
really
that's very
in the
true.
show, if you notice in the first couple episodes, you really start noticing, wow, none of these people who are in charge of these young adolescents understand how to talk to adolescents or deal with their issues. And instead of trying to uncover the bullying, they're more trying to cover it up and things like that.
There's a book. Did you read the book before watching?
No, I haven't.
A lot of people say the book was better.
Yeah, books are always better.
Of course.
I'm confused about the 13 reasons. Is each reason like an individual person and how they affected and like maybe bullied the
that's
person?
It's the person.
to, like,
It's the person plus like an event normally. So
Okay.
little spoilers. So don't listen to
Okay.
like this first 30 seconds. But this one young lady, she accidentally hits a stop sign.
Yeah.
And she
She
it
caused
was-
multiple deaths.
Yeah, she caused multiple deaths because someone doesn't stop for the stop sign.
Okay.
So it's like little things like that.
From what I've heard, I know we have to wrap up soon. From what I've heard, Selena Gomez is the executive producer
Yeah.
of this series.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
a lot of
to-
people were like,
Yeah.
but I thought it was
She
good.
said it's also like to help others spread their story and help millions of
Yes.
teenagers and whoever else. So kudos to Selena Gomez.
Yes.
Kudos to her. Because I
Not
love Selena Gomez.
No, Selena Gomez
She's
is great.
amazing.
She
She's
has come out
beautiful.
and,
I love her.
She's
And-
actually said she
yeah.
went to rehab for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the show. I had depression as a little kid, and I was actually suicidal when I was 7 years old. So that's a very touchy subject for people, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people couldn't finish it.
Exactly, and I don't know if I honestly want to watch it because it brings up a lot of bad memories. It brings up a lot of stuff I don't like to say. But that being said, we're getting the word out there.
It reminds me of that other movie they had.
Yeah, and honestly, so many people with depression feel so alone.
Yeah.
So knowing that there's a group of people out there to support them is huge. So that's what I commend about this show.
I think
but
this show is good because all the people
have
who
to see
do
how
bully
they portray it.
can now see the effects of what can happen
Yes.
due to bullying.
Yes.
And so I think this is
and it
really
promotes
good for
awareness.
others.
But I just hope they put the suicidal bit and the depression bit in a positive manner because it's not something that should be taken as propaganda and like kind of like cultural appropriation in a way where you're just taking something and trying to turn it into something fun. You know, like suicide is not a mystery novel. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So we need to treat it like that.
So let's give us applause for our hot topic. Thanks,
good topic.
Megan. Thanks for sharing that. When we come back, we will have a beautiful jazz performance. Don't go away.